Good evening, Fiji. Welcome to For the Record. Now, when we mention the Motor Brothers, immediately we think movies, we think cinemas, and most recently, their brand new multi-million-dollar complex in Lovala Bay. And with me, lucky enough to share just some of his busy time, especially at this, festive season, we have the CEO of the Motor Brothers group of companies.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dave Demora, for joining us this evening.
Pleasure.
Now, the project everyone's talking about. We've been talking about it for the past year. Before we even touch on that, first of all, I'm going to ask you, what keeps you going?
Oh, it's I guess the passion and the joy of putting a smile on a face, and that's the beauty part about entertainment. It's tough work, but when you see a child go into a cinema and he sits there with his popcorn and Coke and he walks out with a smile, you've done your part.
That was me, and still is. Now, I'm going to ask, have you always wanted to be in this business?
Yes, I did. I guess it's a generation thing, eh? And we've my granddad himself and dad who actually started it, and he actually started this whole business by one day on a Wednesday. He was standing in front of Century because we had the textile business that time in Mark Street, and he stood there and he said, "Look, this is where we need to go." Okay. So this is how we have all changed. So I grew up in the working environment from day age. You know, I mean, I remember I was small. Mom and Dad was very aggressive that time in Regal, Century. I remember some of my extended families were in there too. So we all grew up in the film industry.
In the cinema.
Yeah, in the cinema. So basically, that became my nanny house too. So I grew up in it. Yes, cinema is always exciting. It gives you the broader mind of understanding of how commerce works. It gives you a broader mind of understanding people and the emotions and the whole work. So yeah, it was great. It was great stuff.
Okay. Well, in 1996,
Yes.
the Motor Brothers cinemas changed the way we looked at cinemas
Definitely.
in Fiji, the Pacific.
Yes, definitely.
Now,
Sorry, I'll let you.
No. I mean, like, how did that all come about?
Well, that was 17 years ago. You know, 17 years ago, it was very different here. I remember, to go on how did they do it, Dad and one of his partners from Village Roadshow and other guys from New Zealand Force Corporation, they did the first cinema in Manukau in New Zealand. Then they contacted Dad, look, this will work here. For us, it was a big deal. It was a big deal as a family. Look, should we take this step or not? And we decided we were going to go, and it revolutionized the way our lifestyle and how it works. And that was 17 years ago. You know, it really changed. I remember before when we were in primary, we used to only go to Wishbone and things like that and just walk around.
That is very true.
And once Bill 6 came in, that changed the whole concept again for that generation, when we were in high schools and all that.
We have a whole generation now in Fiji
Yes.
that don't remember how cinema was before Village 6.
No.
Yes. And we'll now have a new generation that won't remember how cinema was. Now with the new step into the Motor Brothers complex in Lovala Bay, that's a huge step. Now, we'll touch on that a little bit more, but also, what other interests, apart from just the film, does the Motor Brothers group of companies have?
We looked at it from a point of now expanding in not just in entertainment, but also looking at expanding in property development into other ventures and whole works. When I was appointed CEO of the group, and we looked at it from a different angle, say, look how we take this forward, you know. In our research, we found that now the cinema has to be a part of a mall. So that's how the City came about. Okay. Then we noticed that the audience were going differently. The choices were different now. You know, we had competition from new media. We had competition from new technology. Home entertainment was getting much powerful, where with your sound systems and surround sounds and all. Piracy was an issue. Right. Yes, it's a very notorious issue for us. we are partners with Event Cinemas, have a concept called the VMAX. Now the VMAX is a concept where it is a 5-story screen. I'm sorry, it's a large screen concept, but for us, we took it one step further. We made it 5 stories. We made the screen width about 23.8 meters width wide, and with 378 seats, and it's much a higher recline than a normal VMAX. So there's a lot of engineering and sound engineering has gone into that. The experience that you're going to have in that cinema, you're going to think twice about seeing a film at home.
Okay.
And I still remember when we sat down and we went through about, we saw 300 Rise of the Empire, the trailer. So Captain America, I said, oh, this is it. You can't beat this. And it's an experience. I wish I could explain it much clearer, but once you sit in it, what you experience, it won't be the same. Then there was another angle that we looked at. We looked at the premium class cinema.
Okay, how different is that from?
Okay, the premium class cinema, it has it's a high admission. You get food and beverage in there. It's got its own waiting lounge itself, so you can go in there, have food, you can have drinks. It's very lavish. The staffs are very different in the hotel catering staff mostly. Then once you go in the cinema, you first get your ticket. You come in the lounge, you order your stuff. Then once you go sit in your seat, they bring it to you.
That's a whole different service that we've had here in cinemas.
Exactly.
And we'll touch more on this right after this short break. Welcome back to For the Record. We're with the CEO of Damodar Group of Companies, Mr. Div Damodar, and we're talking about, well, not only their multi-million-dollar project that I'm just so excited about it too, because I have yet to go to it.
Hey.
You know, I've been looking at it from the outside. I want to experience all that you've just been talking about in the first segment of the show.
Yes.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about, okay, you are committed to Fiji.
Yes.
We see that. Now, how much of a support have you been receiving from the rest of the business community here in Fiji and your partners? Want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Look, I'm proud Fijian, and I build my country, and I've something that even Dad has taught me that look, we are born here, and we have to be loyal up here. So we will expand, and any avenue, any opportunities there, we will definitely expand onto that. I think what makes us local investors, not just ourselves, there's many family businesses here, a lot of other local businesses from micro level, medium-sized businesses to conglomerates. What has given us a very strength is the very positive policies of the government, and the rules and regulations, how it's more open about it. You know,
a lot more enabling.
Yeah, and it's more about dialogue. You know, I mean, you have a problem, you can go and talk it, and they say, look, you haven't done this right, you need to do this. Look, that's good. You know, at least you taught us, hey, we can't do this, we can do it this way. But I think that previously what we found that there was more focus only on foreign investment and not much locally. But now there's a big avenue that's opened up. Foreign investment is great. I mean, there's nothing disencouraging on that. But having local and foreign investment both be on the same level, you can grow the country twice the speed of it.
That's right.
Our partners, Event Cinemas, is an Australian-based company. Amalgamated Holdings Limited, it's a big public company. They're very strongly fated with us. Our previous partners in the cinema business were Roadshow. And it's a bit like a third marriage because they sold it to Sky City in Auckland, and then they sold it to Amalgamated Holdings. So Amalgamated Holdings is an Australian company which very strongly believe in Fiji. So and they're also the brand owners of Regis Hotels. So it has given us a lot of upbeat opportunity to move things. So yeah, look, we're committed. We're looking to Lambasa.
Right, and let's touch on that now.
Yes.
You're moving to the north in Lambasa.
Yes.
What are the plans for Lambasa?
Well, First of all, it's going to be twice the size of this, and it's about 8.
Twice the size of
it is.
what
It
we
is.
have here.
It's surprising, yeah, because it's 8 acres, and we've looking at cinemas, looking at supermarkets. My idea was that I want to engage more vulnerable level businesses, and yes, we have some external VT level businesses coming over there, but I want to give the local economy there much more power.
Do you think it has the market for it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It does. I mean, if you look at the vulnerable level at the moment, is quite growing fast. Quite growing fast, and there's a lot of money down there, a lot of opportunities out there. Government is very encouraging businesses to come there, and we've been down there for a while, meeting people. Again, the same stuff what we did here. We spend a lot of time with people. You know, that's how we get to learn and hear what.
Now, the cost of going to, let's just go back again, touch on the cost of going to the cinema.
Yes.
A lot will say, $20 is a lot of money to put aside, even $10.
Yes.
Now, just I know that you're ready to explain why those prices.
Okay. What we've done now, as you can see, there's Villa 6, and it's after 17 years, we have done the motor event cinemas. The technology that has gone into those cinemas are much more greater than what it was.
Village 6.
Village 6 and all. And what we've done with the VMAX, because the single cinemas cost us a lot, and we did a lot of market research, and what we found that $10 was quite a suitable number to come in. So because at the moment we're charging $6.50. Yeah. So it's pretty much equal to it because your normal cinemas are $8, and now the premium is a different story. It's like business class, so it's $20 itself. And mind you, that place it's hard to get a ticket right now, even if you call.
I know.
I was trying to get in. My wife told me, "Div, let's go movie," and so we tried to book in and said, "Oh, we don't get seats."
The CEO did not get a seat.
No, we can't get seats. Simple.
Yes, for the record.
So
this is how well they're doing.
Yeah. So we've so this what has happened now is that people want to experience that. It's not just only us. It's not just only us. I mean, you go to Tico's, you go to all the fine dine restaurants. They're all full from Wednesday to Saturday. You go to the nightclubs and bars, they're all full. And these are not expertise. That's us.
Now, with this, obviously, it will be reflecting in the population of Suva and the Nosori and the Siunu corridor.
Yes.
You think it will be reflected in Lambasa and in the north?
No, it will be. It's a bit different down there too. I mean, I'm not saying the socioeconomics is not same, but I guess whenever a new investment or new business opens up, especially in the leisure entertainment industry, it actually makes people come out.
Okay.
That's what we have seen. We've noticed like when Bill 6 was out there, it totally changed people how they went to movies. But this has totally changed people. We have noticed in the span of 17 years that people going out to restaurants and bars and that have exploded. I mean, you see the amount of people buying cars and all this. I mean, today you go to any restaurant, there's nothing less than $15.
I know. No, it
and
is
it's packed. And again, it's all local people. It's us. It's not just that big expatriate crowd. It's quite. I mean, each and every food court you go today, it's nothing less than $6.
That is
so
true.
when we put all those figures together, and when we spoke to the communication companies, and this data that we got a lot of data in 3 years.
So there's
time.
a lot of research that you.
Oh yeah. We had a lot of research we found, and we've. I think what happens here in Fiji is that people are willing to pay as long as service is there. And that's something that we really enforce very strongly, that you will do. You are our priority every day, I mean, I tell myself, look, they're the boss. They don't come, we both get fired. Bottom line, so service, people are willing to pay for it. And it is, I mean, look, we've looked at it thoroughly, and it's working out well so far.
On that note, we'll check into another break, but
Sure.
we'll be right back to talk a little bit more about how the Motor Group of companies in the entertainment industry, the Motor Brothers, cinemas, have changed entertainment here in Fiji. Welcome back to For the Record. We're with the CEO of the Demoda Group of Companies, Mr. Div Demoda. Now, we were just talking about, the change in the attitudes of people of Fiji
Yes.
towards entertainment. Now, let's just nail this down. I asked this question further on about the price. Now, how cheap are our cinema entry, our entry fees compared to the world with the terms of, in terms of this,
Ooh.
what you provide?
I would say we would be the cheapest in the world.
The cheapest in the world?
I would say when it comes to, especially Australia and New Zealand, it's an arm and a leg going down there, literally. So compared to that, and we justified it to all the studios and homeworks and say, look, we're going to stand our ground. One thing good about what my dad really wants is that it's about the smile. It's not about the money.
Okay.
That's the main thing.
Okay.
That's how cinemas work. It's a smile.
All right. Well, speaking of the smiles, now you've also extended in the Pacific.
Yes.
PNG.
Yes.
How well are you doing in PNG?
PNG is great. It was quite a learning experience down there, and we are great two partners. We have Mahesh Patel from CPL, and we have William Parkinson, CFL, who does both stations down there. They are partners down there. PNG is quite a different market. It's for them. It was after 30 years they had a cinema.
30 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was suddenly after 30 years you have a modern multiplex cinema. So it was quite a.
How big is it compared to?
They're about three. Sorry.
How big is it compared to our cinemas?
Oh, I would say it's about same size as Village 4.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a second one that we look in Wangani at the moment, which is it's under construction. We're taking it slowly as we go. But yeah, look, PNG is not bad.
But you did expand also in different parts of the Pacific. Yeah?
Yes, we did. We were in Samoa for a while. Then we were in Tonga. Tonga was beautiful. Fortunately, in the riots.
Yes. Unfortunate
Yep.
at that time.
Yeah. But yeah, we kept an eye open and all. I think what we really wanted to do first is just to finish this.
Okay.
And now I think for January onwards, we have Lambasa we're looking at. We're looking at redeveloping Village 6.
Okay. A question, yes.
Yes.
What's going to happen to Village 6 and Village 6 specifically, since it's here in Suva?
I'll tell you something about it. Do you guys remember when that wheel came down?
Well,
There was a big...
this?
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was a very unilateral decision, like, look, I think it's not, let's redo it, so let's just remove it.
Yeah.
My God, I received so many emails saying that, how did you dare do that? I said, okay, sorry, But we have, Village 6 is our foundation, and we are looking now more for tourism development down there.
Okay.
We're still going to keep cinemas.
You'll keep the cinema?
Oh yeah, we'll keep
Are you going to reduce the number?
We're looking at reducing it, but at this stage, I wouldn't like to say that we are going to do that. But due to simply because we could use one of the cinemas as a performance stage up there for tourism and stuff. So that's still some very extended. Yeah. So there's a lot of because the thing is that like with the Village 6 in town, we are not alone. We are working with other malls. We are working with also restaurants and other brands that are around this because we all share the same crowd. So my idea was that look, we want to be in that group, Yeah. So yeah, we're still looking at a few things, but getting there. Okay.
What about to the expansion in the West? Any ideas for that?
Nandi, the two things that we're looking at. We are still in negotiation with R.B. Patel. Okay. We have another site that we've been looking at too. As far as in tourism goes, we have accomplished a purchase of the Denarau site. So there's a tourism concept still we're working on. So yeah, as far as West Coast, Nandi is kept pretty much as busy.
You recently expanded into the fashion industry also.
Yes.
Want to talk about that?
Yes, yes.
All right,
It's quite an exciting industry. It's quite
I can
exciting.
imagine.
Yes, yes. I guess what made us very possible into this was because of Riddhi. Riddhi, my wife, who's very creative, and how all that happened was amazing because our room turned into a big Crayon design room. But
Had it always been a plan, or was it?
no, she's been working on it for a while, and I guess when she was expecting, at that time she was home, and we started seeing some of the designs that come up. And I said, "Look, this looks pretty fantastic." Yeah, and she put the whole label together. She put the team together, the whole design together, and then we went Fiji Fashion Week. And my! I didn't realize we were going to be the emerging designer of the year. You know.
Well, congratulations to you and your wife.
Yeah, to her. I mean, to me, I sat there. I said, "It's just a dress you put it on." That's not the case, actually. Apparently, so yeah, no.
There's going to be a lot of frowning, what's happening.
Yeah, but it's quite an interesting industry, and there's so many creative people out there, and we have such a great talent in Fiji. Not only just from designers, but also from models' point of view. We have now boys and girls who are really out there, want to really try, and it's a good industry which we can expand and create employment, and indirect employment. I can see that it can happen, and with today's technology and opportunities in education, and so look, it's quite interesting, I would say.
What were your major challenges? Very quickly.
Major challenges.
Major challenges in terms of all this stuff, the new development from the complex, the new multi-million-dollar complex, and also challenges in terms of having fashion, entering the fashion industry.
I guess it was. I wouldn't call it a challenge, but I guess what our biggest task became was manpower, managing it. I mean, from myself, not only, but specifically my GMs and them, they were started handling 4 or 5 departments. You know, I think that's where certain things did got delayed in the process. But challenges in sense, I guess we were dealing with 81 tenants in the city.
At the beginning,
yeah. And you know, we like Cornelia Smith and the team, center manager and who works. The biggest task was just following up on them and whole work. So, besides that, our team out there in the cinemas with Madhu Singh, who's our GM for cinemas, Tula Atkinson, Tula Atchison, she's our Chief Marketing Officer, and also for Riddhi herself, she's also our GM for the fashion. So it has really, this year has been quite a year for us, because we've been, what I mean by year for us, that so many things
that happen, but you've managed to bring it through.
Yeah, it's we crossed the line. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time.
Oh, okay.
But thank you so much for being with us this evening on the show.
Okay.
And if you'd like, well, to join us again, do join us again next week. Thank you very much for spending time with us. And if you've got questions or comments, please email us on fortherecord@fbc.com.fj and join us again next week for more discussions on issues pertinent to Fiji. Good night, Fiji.